Today I'm talking with Cynthia Zarin, the poet and novelist, about her writing for Book Post, the newsletter-based book review. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Just fine, thanks.
So you wrote last week for Book Post about Mavis Gallant. What drew you to writing about her?
I just had no idea there were so many stories that hadn't been collected, so that was quite interesting. So, I hadn't actually read Mavis for a long time, so then I went back, of course, and I read a lot of other stories which had been collected, and it was just amazing to see how congruent they were, and also just to see the prodigious amount of work she had done, and really how brilliant it is, sentence by sentence by sentence.
Yeah. Was there anything that was particularly surprising to you about it?
I think it was surprising to me that some of the stories are really almost novellas. The length, we think of a short story as maybe 10, 15, 20 pages, but some of these were 70 pages, and I thought that was quite interesting to see how she handled the different length requirements and how much you can put in a story of 4 pages, because some of her stories are very brief, and how much are in a longer, what you can say in a longer effort.
Yeah. I know Anne likes to hear in Book Post from writers about other writers they feel a particular kinship for. You've also written in Book Post on Alan Garner, Colm Toibin, John Birmingham, Shirley Hazard, and Laurie Colwin. Maybe you could pick out one or two of them and tell us something that makes them important to you?
Well, I think for me that would be most likely Laurie Colwin and John Birmingham. Laurie Colwin, who is a kind of old-fashioned handbook for what it is like to grow up in New York, in a certain kind of New York world. And when Anne asked me to write about them, I devoured those books when I was younger, and also her wonderful cookbooks.
Yeah.
And I gave them to my daughter and a close friend of hers, and I said, do these still hold up? And they absolutely love them. So, I think that she is a certain kind of chronicler of a certain kind of New York life. But I think her matters of the heart really speak to everybody. And then the second one would be John Birmingham, who is very well known in the UK. He died a few years ago. He's a children's book writer. And indeed, I am currently writing the libretto for an opera based on one of his books called Hey, Get Off Our Train, which I hope will begin to be workshopped next year.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Very welcome.